Why the world should leave Olaf Scholz and the German government alone. With regards to the war in Ukraine, both sides are gearing up for a spring offensive. Ukraine desperately wants Leopard 2 tanks, or the West desperately want Germany to sanction the use of Leopard 2 tanks in the Ukraine. The German government is hesitant on this. Why? Because the German government is scratching its head and doesn't understand why it's being asked to do this. Everybody still blames Germany for World War One. Everybody still blames Germany for World War Two. It's nasty old Germans. Everybody blames Germany and the German people for the Holocaust, even though all the Allies knew what was going on, but chose to ignore it. That's a fact. So Germany's fought 2 wars in the Ukraine. Germany still gets blamed for everything, but now the international community, the EU, NATO, wants Germany to get involved in the Ukraine. If the German government sanctions the use of its tanks and licensed tanks, then Germany is directly involved in the war in Ukraine. Now, this will be a major escalation of the conflict. The Russian government, Vladimir Putin, is already running on an anti-Nazi narrative. If you look at the history of Russia in relation to Germany, it's not a very good relationship. If you even look at popular culture in Russia now, for the past 20 years, their movie industry has been based along Second World War films. The heroic, patriotic Russian peasant fighting off the Nazi German invader. So it won't take much for Vladimir Putin to go to the Kremlin, the Russian parliament, and say to the Russian people, it's the Germans. We were right after all. I was right after all. The Germans are behind it. Never mind the EU. Never mind NATO. It's those nasty old Germans. They're at it again, trying to push their borders east. Lebensraum. Trying to destroy the Russian Soviet state. And that's got to be a major escalation. The Russians won't think twice about nuking Berlin. If they think they're going to lose the war, they'll take us all down with them. Because they'll have been proven right. With the Leopard 2 tanks being unleashed in Ukraine against the Russians. They could pursue that narrative, they could pursue that argument, and the Russian people will buy it. Because that's what they've been fed on for the past 70 years. Because we've been fed on the same story. The Germans were to blame for everything. And now we're asking the Germans to get stuck in there. So, food for thought, folks. I know what's going on in the Ukraine is a tragedy. But I don't understand why Western governments are trying to escalate the conflict by introducing advanced, modern, offensive tanks that could take the war to the Russians and could cause serious consequences for us all. So, hey ho.